G'day guys, your old pal Nick here from the Bulldog Fanatic YouTube channel, and welcome back to today's video as we are previewing the game between the D's and the Bulldogs, the final round of the home and away season, but thankfully not the final game for the Bulldogs. So round 24, 4:15 at the MCG on a Saturday afternoon. Very, very exciting. The Dogs have made some key ins after their draw last week against Carlton. Key ins include Connor Butterick, Bailey Dale, and the return of the GOAT and new dad, Marcus Bontempelli. That's right, Marcus Bontempelli is a dad. He and his partner just had their first kid a week ago, so congrats to them. Anyways, they are back, and probably the most peculiar in out of that lot is Ryan Gardner is also in. Possibly for his last game as a Bulldog because he is out of contract, and I don't think he'll get a new deal. So he's a defender, key position defender. He's played one game this year, and I don't know where he'll play. He could play forward, could play ruck, second ruck. He could play key position defense, and Bruku Karmas goes forward. I'm not really sure where he plays. That'll be interesting to see. Now, the peculiar thing about this game is this game takes place after the Carlton Fremantle game, and it's important that it takes place. And the result of that game is very, very important because for the Bulldogs to stay where they are, to finish ninth, it's probably meaning Collingwood win and we win and Carlton lose, or it means Collingwood lose, we lose, and Carlton lose. That's what will happen if all those teams lose. We will stay ninth. If Carlton lose, Collingwood lose above us, and we lose. For the Bulldogs to drop down to 10th is simply Carlton win and we lose. That's right. If Carlton beat Fremantle and we lose to Melbourne shortly after, we will go down to 10th and probably play the Adelaide Crows in Adelaide, who are 7th. So that is not great. But if Carlton lose and the Bulldogs lose, we stay where we are in 9th. So, yeah, it really depends what happens in the Carlton Freo game of, where we finish on the ladder. So, I don't know what will happen there. Both teams are underdogs. Carlton are underdogs against Freo, and the Dogs are underdogs against the D's. So, most likely we're going to play Collingwood at the G for our wildcard game, but you never know. Regardless of what happens with the Carlton Freo game, I would still like to win because, I want a bit of momentum going into finals. And last week against Carlton showed probably some of the best footy we've played in months. Even though we didn't get the 4 points, we still came away with 2. And we got a much stronger side this week. Of course, still no Tim English, but we have got our 2 best halfback flankers back in Butterick and Dale, and of course, our best player and our skipper, the Bont. So we have got a much stronger lineup, but I wouldn't be surprised if Carlton lose to Freo, which, mind you, by the way, that game starts at 1:15 tomorrow, Saturday, and will finish around probably 3:45 or so. So about 20-30 minutes before our game starts. So would not be surprised if there's some very, very late changes to the Bulldogs side if Carlton lose to Freo and we're locked in to play Collingwood at the MCG in a wildcard game before our game has started. That is the ideal scenario, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. In regards to the D's, they've got one change. Jacob Van Rooyen is suspended, so Xavier Lindsay is coming in. So that's one less tall forward we have to worry about, which is always good for me as a Dogs fan, given, we don't have the greatest defense in the world, as we all know. Of course, last time we played the D's at Marvel, we won by a kick. What an amazing game that was. And of course, Tim English didn't play in that game either. It's one of the few wins this year without Tim English this year. Rory Lobb did a very good job against Max Gawn. Can he repeat it again? Who knows? But D's at the MCG is a lot tougher than at Marvel. So, yeah, we are underdogs and deservedly so. Melbourne are playing some really good footy. They come off a huge, 70-odd point win against Port Adelaide at Adelaide Oval last week. They are humming. They're the surprise packet of the year. And Melbourne need to win to stay in the top 6, because if they lose this game, very likely they go into the wildcard spot of 7th, which is definitely not what they want. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Both teams have a lot to play for. More so Melbourne, I would say, just to stay inside the top 6. I'm excited to go. It's only our second game of the MCG this year, which is just crazy. We should just be playing more games there, but we don't. But we have won there this year. Of course, we came back against Hawthorn earlier this year, about 12 weeks ago now. So, yeah, we have got some winning form at the MCG in recent times. Of course, we beat the D's here last year. Both teams were very different, though. Melbourne had Petrarca and Oliver still playing. Bulldogs had Sam Darcy playing, and we won by a kick. And we won our last 3 against Melbourne, so we have got the wood over them in recent times, which is good to see, given the trauma they've given me throughout the 2020s, a lot of the time, the Ds. But anyways, I'm going into this game not really nervous. The nerves will go out if Carlton lose to Freo, which will be half an hour before our game starts. But the main thing I really want to take away from this game is just play like what we did last week against Carlton and kick our set shots better, of course. And most important thing, no injuries. Just no injuries, considering we'll be playing the week after, whether it be in Adelaide or Melbourne, like at the G, like we've not a long break after the D's game, so regardless of where we're playing. So yeah, just no injuries. That's the main priority from this game. Interesting to see how the returning players look form-wise. I think time on ground for certain players will be lower than what they normally are, because, we want to manage them throughout the game to make sure they are fresh for the wild card, and also to make sure they don't get injured, of course. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoy the vid. I'm going to go to the game Saturday, our last game of the home and away season, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm going in this game with, not much care, really. Not really much care. I'm just excited to see if we can, win against another good team. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoy the vid, and as always, go you mighty Bulldogs. See you next time.